Welcome back. I guess, is it welcome back?
No.
Because this is the official first episode of the Imperfect Podcast. I, for one, am super, super excited that we can finally get into talking about some topics instead of just me talking about myself, as much as I love doing that. Anyway, for our first episode today, I am honored to be sitting next to one of my good friends, Landon. Would you like to tell you a little bit about yourself?
My name is Landon. I go to Falston High School. I've been friends with Gabby for a couple years.
Yeah, maybe more than a couple.
Well,
It's been since, when did I meet you?
middle school, right? You didn't go to YBS.
No, I didn't. Did we meet in 6th grade, though? I didn't think we did. I thought it was, maybe 7th grade.
Maybe 7th.
Because you were too cool for me. You were one of the soccer kids. You were, way too cool.
Oh, soccer kids are cool now, apparently.
Soccer kids at Falston have always been cool. If you played a sport, you were just, you were in the in group. So, Landon is here because, as some of you may or may not know, this is, Suicide Prevention Month?
Yes.
September? Is it September? Wow, it's September. It's already September. That is crazy. Anyway. And so, Landon, would you be willing to share a little bit about, your journey and everything?
Specifically with...
Mental health.
What I've had with mental health?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of just different to open up about it. I only talk to, personally to, close friends and people
Right.
who I hang out with a lot and kind of, see what I'm going through.
Right.
So talking about it to a bunch of random people who are going to be hearing this is kind of a bit different for me. I mean, I'm not diagnosed with, anxiety or anything, and it's not okay to self-diagnose yourself, by the way. Don't do that. But, I mean, I've had panic attacks and things like that, and bad mental health as in, cutting and self-harm and sometimes suicidal thoughts. Now, it's not always that severe, but it can be at times, and usually it's just, talking it out or going to hang out with a friend and just kind of getting through it. But, yeah, I've dealt with that for couple years now, probably since I've gotten into high school, and things have just gotten more stressful and people are more of jerks, I guess.
Yeah. Especially, going through middle school and high school. People, those are rough years. We're not done with them yet, but personally, middle school was a really hard time. So, I can just imagine, and I didn't have, the worst mental health. Of course, I was bullied in middle school because of a multitude of different things, and that was hard, but I was also kind of at the point in my life when I was learning to accept that kind of stuff, so my mental health wasn't the worst, so I can only imagine what that would have been like.
It's kind of just a multitude of things that pile up over time, family issues, school, work,
right,
friends,
right.
Relationships, all those things piling up, for example, my stepbrother died 2 years ago, and that was pretty hard on me. I still think about that pretty often. Just, the fact that I didn't know him very well, and the fact that I didn't get to, meet him and have that relationship with him
right.
as I could have if I was there more.
Right.
That kind of sticks with me, and kind of just,
yeah.
Just,
Did you ever, blame yourself for things like that?
No, actually... Kind of. I blame myself for not being there.
Okay.
Not being there to, I wasn't there to support my family when they lost him, because I hadn't
right.
talked to my dad in years.
Right.
So not being able to be there to support them and wasn't there kind of
Right.
stung a little bit, and that sticks with me a little bit. There's no way to it's not my fault. It's not
right.
my fault that
right.
he died, but I still blame myself a little bit for not being there to support my family.
Right, and I feel like a lot of people do that in a lot of different situations. Personally, I'm the kind of person who is a people pleaser, so, I blame myself for a lot of things that aren't my fault, and a lot of things and it makes no sense for me to blame myself for, but I'm constantly come on, you could have done something else, you could have done that differently, you could have, I don't know, and I'm super hard on myself when it comes to, taking things too far, or, not knowing when to stop doing something, and I end up steering people away, and that's something that, you know, is hard on me because I want so badly for people to like me, and I want so badly, you know, to please people. So I definitely get that whole blaming thing. That's something I struggle with too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do that, and it's just kind of like, you just got to get over the fact that not everybody's going to like you.
Right.
And it's just kind of, you got to end up doing whatever makes you happy and kind of figure out what people want you in their lives versus who are just kind of there using you.
Right.
Because you'll have people that will want to be with you just so they can have advice from you. Like, I've had people that do that. They'll only hit me up when they need advice.
Right.
And it's like, that's just not cool.
Right.
So just stick around the people that actually care for you and will ask you what's wrong when you're having a bad day.
And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between, like, real friends and fake friends, but I promise as time goes on, there will be certain things that really, you know, tell you, that really give you that answer. Like, you know, even in COVID, I really realized that, like, I only talked to, like, 6 people over quarantine. And the fact that, like, and, like, I tried to reach out to other people, too. Like, I made it a goal of mine to reach out to people, you know, just to, like, check in on them and see how things were. As, like, people who I haven't talked to since, like, elementary school, too. Yeah. You know, just to, like, because what else was I gonna do, you know? But still only 5 people replied. It's like, I tried so hard to, you know, be that friendly face for people, and they just don't want it.
Yeah, once we get out of school, and I stopped texting people, and I got messages from just my one friend.
Yeah.
One person that everybody else I had hit up to talk to, and even some of them kind of just didn't help. Yeah. Didn't hit me up at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, apparently I'm just a loner. I got my one friend, and that's
You're
it.
not a loner.
Nah,
You're not a loner. So, no, go ahead.
I'm just more with my work friends now. I guess that's kind of a reason that I'm not talking to anybody else. Like,
well, I'm glad you found your people. I mean, I'm still struggling, kind of. You know, I see my friends on social media and everything, and they have, like, either they're 2 really close friends, or they have, like, a group of, like, really tight-knit friends, and it's, like, multiple people. And then there's me that has, like, one friend from a specific group, so I can only hang out with, like, one friend at a time, or else it's, like, super weird.
Yeah, I dropped off of social media for a while just because it's just annoying to look at. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some things that people post, and I'm just silently judging them. And, you know, social media, I feel like that's just such a toxic place. Did you cope with everything that was going on in your head?
I wouldn't say that I did it well.
Yeah?
When I started... Well, I hold things in. I don't usually talk to people about anything unless, like, I absolutely have to. So, like, what was it, 9th grade, freshman year, I was really bad at it. So I would, like, punch things, I would drink, I did all the bad things that you shouldn't do when struggling. But now it's more just, I've found the people that I can talk to and that I know I can trust and have gone through some of the same things I have.
Right.
So I can kind of talk it out with them.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Like, I know some of my friends, they have, like, that one person that they really count on for stuff like that. But I think, like, this podcast especially, I think is really important because I think it's good to know that there are other people out there who are going through the same thing that you are. Even if it's not, like, specifically word for word everything that you're going through, I feel like people have really similar thoughts when they're going through something like this.
Yeah, and for all you out there who do struggle with it, literally just find that one person who you're close to, just find that one person you're close to that you know you can trust, talk it out with them, and if you don't have that person, then, I mean, talk to me and Gabby, we can help you guys out.
Yeah, on our Instagram page, on the podcast page, and my personal podcast page, like I said in, the pilot episode, like, I run both accounts. My DMs are always open. Landon, he's a good person to talk to as well. So if you guys don't have that person in your life, let us be that person, because we would love to help you guys, just because, you know, we've been through some things, some worse than others, but
yeah, and we know that not everybody has that person. Some people are more closed off than others, and It's okay.
Right. Do you have any other pieces of advice that you would, like, if you could go back and tell yourself something, like, if you could give yourself advice as you were going through this, or, like, do you have any advice that you would give other people?
Find out who those fake friends are before you get too far into high school, especially far into high school, because those fake friends will ruin you. Find your close friends, find those good people, and stick with them. They'll help you through it.
Yeah, finding the right group of friends is really, really important. I mean, that's something that, I value my friends more than anything. And, like, yes, I love my family. But I feel like there's just something so different about, like, a relationship with a friend than a relationship with a parent. Like, you can tell so much more to a friend than you could ever tell your parents.
Yeah, I can't tell my parents half of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So how has your mental health, or, the idea of, like, having a poor mental health versus, like, a healthy mental health, Yeah. How has mental health impacted your life?
How has it impacted my life? That's an interesting question. I wouldn't say it's like, I guess it is something that can impact you from day to day, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was closed off for a while, and that helped me to find those good friends, and it helped me to focus on work and making money and pretty much just working up towards what I want to do instead of, like, being focused on trying to please people.
Right. I think, I'm not comparing my birthmark to mental health because, they're not similar very much at all. But I think, my birthmark growing up was definitely a hard situation, and I know that mental health is also a hard situation. And I know from experience, like, my birthmark, everything that has happened with it, whether it's the bullying that happened or whether it's becoming an ambassador, like, everything that has happened that's birthmark related has been such a blessing, and it's made me a more confident and stronger person. And I don't know if that's the same for you with your mental health, but
I mean, certain things, like getting my first job.
Yeah.
At Earth, Wind, and Fire. Check it out. I walked in, and literally as soon as I walked in, I met this really great old lady, and she hired me directly on the spot and kind of just, like, started off this place that's now my safe place that I can go to, and I can clear my mind and just I'm so glad that I got that job. It really helped me along the way. I don't know where I would be now if I didn't get that job.
I think you were one of the first friends of mine that got a job. And I remember, Earth, Wood, and Fire is on the way to my church. So I would drive past it twice every week because I would, go back and forth because I don't live at the church. Anyway, so I would pass it and I'd be like, Mom, that's where Landon works.
Ooh.
And she'd be like, that's really cool. And I'd be like, can we go sometime? And she was like, well, the pizza's really expensive, but, like, sure, whenever your friend's working, we can go. And we haven't yet, but I would love to go when you're working.
Come this weekend.
This weekend?
I work 12 to 11 Thursday through Sunday.
Wow. That's a long day.
It's going to be about 40 hours this weekend, which is my max amount of hours that I can work.
Wow.
Yeah, if you ever want some good pizza or maybe a burger, come down. It is very expensive, but
but it's good.
But
it's good.
It's quality. It's quality.
It's quality, and they've got this cute little outdoor eating space, and it's near a Rita's and a mini golf course. You've tried the mini golf course, haven't you?
I actually have a job there now.
You do?
Yeah.
I knew that.
And it's a good course. I've played probably 8 times since it's opened.
Really?
It's not, like, super easy either.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not like not like an Ocean City course where they have, like, dinosaurs in their thing.
Oh, man.
But it's pretty cool. You go at night, and I say night is the best time just because it's more of a vibe. They got the water, they got the lights, and yeah, it's a fun time.
That's really cool. My friend has asked me to go twice, and I have said no both times. Not because I didn't want to go, but because he asked me at a really bad time. Like, one time my friend was over, and that was the last time I was going to see her before she went to college, and the other time, I cannot remember why I couldn't go. But I swear I had a good reason.
Wait, let's talk about that. I know that you were struggling with your friend moving to college, so how are you doing with that? How are you handling?
Well, I think I'm okay. Um, it was harder in the beginning. I'll be honest with you. I cried more before she left. Like, I cried more the week before. Yeah, I was definitely more upset leading up to it. But then once she left, I told my friend Logan, his girlfriend actually just moved to college. And so he was having a really rough time with that. And it was just around the same time that my friend left. And, I was telling him that, yes, it's sad and it's going to hurt in the beginning. Not even hurt, but it's just going to be really hard in the beginning. But once you see, like, how happy and excited they are, once they're there and they, like, experience college life. And, like, my friend, she's going to college at Virginia Wesleyan, so she's, like, right next to Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So, I see how excited and happy she is every night to be at the beach with her friends. And I'm like, what kind of a friend would I be if like, I made her feel guilty for leaving? And, it's college. Like, I feel like if you get into college and you're determined enough to go, like, nothing should stop you from that, especially if you're going for, like, a major that you're really passionate about, which she is. So I'm a lot better now. And, we FaceTime, like, at least twice a week. So, we make it work, and it's been fun. I'm kind of learning through her. She's definitely an example in my life. It's funny. She's 2 years older than me. My brother is going into his senior year. So I have a person who's going through everything before me, which is super great, because then I will never make mistakes.
Never.
Never. I will never make mistakes. I will be absolutely 100% perfect the entire time, forever and always, because I have examples.
And that advice actually kind of helps me, because I actually haven't told you this. I'm now dating a girl who is in her sophomore year of college. She goes to Maryland, and she's going to go back on campus in January.
Does she work with you?
She does.
You did tell me about this.
I did tell you about this. All right.
I don't think you told me it was official, but I think you told me that you were like, oh my god, she's so pretty. I love her so much.
And
like, what do I do?
Don't think I said that. Thank you for that impression.
Oh, you're welcome.
But, yeah, so she'll be going back on campus. That'll be interesting. Not being able to, I guess, see the girl that I'm talking to for, I don't know, possibly months at a time.
Right. And, it's hard. And it's one thing that, I'm trying to convince myself it's okay. Like, you don't need to think about this. But she comes back for Thanksgiving. But, her mom lives in Georgia. Her dad lives in Baltimore City. She goes to school in Virginia. And I live in Harford County. So, her coming to visit me for Thanksgiving is not really a possibility. So even though she'll be home, her home is not my basement. Like, her home is not my house. So it's going to be hard to, like, know that she's not at school and that I still cannot see her because, she has a family.
Yeah.
So that's something that I haven't really thought about yet, but something that I definitely should be thinking about soon. And I'll let you know how that goes.
All right.
Because, I've been, like, super excited for her to come home, but I really don't think she's going to come up to, where I live, which, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, come on. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, okay. So this was a question that I got from Instagram, actually. So, like I said earlier, follow us on Instagram. I am .perfectpodcast, or myself, I'm Gabby Mark on Instagram. I do a lot of interactive stuff with the stories and everything. So if you'd like to ask a question for me to ask one of our guests, let me know. Everything remains anonymous because I want to protect you guys. Anywho, so someone asked, how should you talk to or help someone who's dealing with mental issues, and or someone who isn't willing to open up?
Like what specifically? Like anxiety, depression?
They didn't specify. So, do you have different answers? Because I'd like to know both.
Alright, so for panic attacks, I know that I've had panic attacks before, and that kind of, I guess to explain what a panic attack is you kind of struggle breathing, so you're like hyperventilating, you're struggling to breathe, and then kind of just pretty much just freaking out. And I know that for me, my stress like went to my hands, so my hands gripped up like so much that it was causing me like physical pain. And in that situation, when somebody's having a panic attack, I'd say it's best to just talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're not giving you attention, they're not responding to you, just talk to them, because it will distract them and it will help them get control of the breathing. Make sure you're telling them to breathe. Give them orange juice or water, because those are the two drinks that will help best when having a panic attack, because the vitamin is in orange juice and then water is water.
Yeah, everyone loves water.
Do that. Talk them through it. If they are tensing up, like because of the stress, kind of help them massage it out so they can get feeling back in their... Yeah.
Yeah, and they're everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the tensing of my hands is horrible.
Yeah.
So...
It's bad for your joints. You're going to get arthritis.
That's what I'm worried about. And then moving on to depression. Most of the time, people will not talk about it just because, well, it's depression.
Right.
If you can tell that they're struggling, or they're causing self-harm, or they're contemplating suicide, well, if they're contemplating suicide, don't leave them alone.
Right.
Be by their side. Help them as best as you can. If you can't help them, then find somebody who can. Suicide hotline is on Google. Just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
Will help.
I have like a notes thingy in my phone that has like all the important phone numbers that I've had there since, I don't know, like 5th grade, probably. But yeah, if you guys think that that's something that you should need on hand, I do suggest having like a little notes thingy in your phone, and just having it, always just right there on your phone, because, phones go everywhere with us, so.
Yeah, with depression, just be by their side at all times. Check in on them weekly, daily, however much you think you need to. And just be by their side.
So, you've struggled with, anxiety and depression. So, what kinds of things would you want to hear as someone who's experienced that on kind of like an extreme level? Like, what kinds of things would you want someone, like a friend, what would you want them to tell you?
That's an interesting question.
Because I know, like, people always say, like, oh, it's okay. And I know that doesn't really help, because in your head you're thinking, no, it's not. So I know, like, it's okay is not necessarily the best thing that you should say to someone.
Don't say it's okay. Don't apologize, because I know that people are like, oh, I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. It makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want your pity.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say just the best way for somebody to help, or at least for helping me, is just to talk to me and try to work through what I'm dealing with, try and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I know that I will not help you figure it out.
Right.
And I feel like most people are like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to explain to you because they feel like they're just putting their problems on you. And they feel like they're not worth the time explaining.
Right. They feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Which I can tell you that none of you are. I remember Skylar and I talked when you were having a really rough night. And Skylar and I were talking. She was like, I don't know what to do. She was like, and I know that you can't really help me because you don't really understand him the way that I understand him. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And she was like, we have like some of the same tendencies. He's like really complex. And I was like, well, all right, that's okay.
Oh, ninth grade.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure which night you're talking about, but I'd believe it.
Yeah. And then I remember she told me about you punching your walls. I remember she told me that happened, and I was like, Landon!
Yeah, I still have the mark from punching things. This hand, not so much, but my right hand, right there,
Skylar got a punching bag for Christmas.
So did I.
Did you really?
Year.
Yeah.
I haven't used it since, but...
Buy a punching bag. If you have punching tendencies, don't punch your wall. Punch a bag. Or a pillow.
Pillow does not work. I'm telling you right
Couch?
now. You want to punch something hard. You want to feel it.
Bag. Punch a bag. A punching bag. Punch a punching bag.
Or at least for me, especially if you're self-harming, you want to feel it. You want to feel the hit of something.
Yeah, so buy a punching bag.
Buy a punching bag. Don't punch your friends, buy a punching bag.
I think this was probably on TikTok or something, but I saw someone, I don't even know who it was, but there was this account who, they were raising awareness of mental health and stuff like that, And they said if you have cutting tendencies, instead of cutting, use an ice cube where you would put the mark, because you still feel the pain from the intense cold, but you're not actually causing harm to your skin. So, if that applies to you, use ice. I mean, I don't know if it works.
I don't know either.
But TikTok said that it does. So, it's got to do something right.
Our reliable source is TikTok.
Nowadays it is. You know, there are so many, like, skincare. Oh my gosh. There are so many skincare doctors, and, like, Dr. Pimple Popper is on TikTok. Like, everyone's on TikTok.
Everyone.
Actually, speaking of that, skincare, I know this is, like, super off topic, but skincare by Hiram, okay? I know you've all seen him, and if you haven't, then you're living under a rock. But he said to use the CeraVe hydration cleanser. That stuff works miracles. Literally, it's a cleanser.
I mean, obviously.
I'll send you a picture. It's in a green, it's a white bottle, but it has green details on it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to post a picture of it because I absolutely love it. I'm probably not going to post a picture, but I swear this stuff works miracles. I swear it does. Anyway, that was super off topic. Now back on topic. Someone else asked, has your mental health issues caused you to have trouble connecting with others? And if so, how have you dealt with that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's made me struggle connecting with others, more as just closed me off from others.
Okay.
Because I haven't, like I said, I haven't talked to, like, anybody since school was up.
Right.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of okay with, because, like I said,
People that
I
go to your
focused on
school.
myself more, and that helped me.
Right. And, you know, the people that go to your school are not the nicest people.
They're not. Connecting with others, I enjoy talking to people, so I can have good conversations with people. But now that I've been working, I've worked on conversating and talking about different topics. And
Yeah,
learning.
Yeah, like, as your friend, I've seen you come out of your shell a lot.
Yeah, and I've also learned, like, different social cues and how people are feeling. I've kind of just worked on being social.
Right.
So, like, and now that I work and I'm with a bunch of, like, older people, I honestly don't like talking to people my age anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with me, too, is, like, I constantly make friends with people who are, like, 2 and 3 years older than I am. Like I said, my best friend is in her freshman year of college. She's 2 whole years older than I am. So, I totally get that.
People who I hang out with are literally all in their 20s, and I'm dating a 19-year-old.
And then there's me, who's younger than he is by...
What, a couple months?
Couple months.
But yeah, overall, I'd say no for me, but definitely others do. Others shelter themselves and just kind of, again, they don't want to feel like that burden. They don't want to burden anybody else. And for those people, you can kind of tell. Like, if you see them sitting alone at lunch or they not talking to anybody, just be a friend. Walk up to them, invite them to sit with you. Just be that friend for them.
Right. Like, don't let them go off on their own. And I think that's something that, you know, in this society, in this world, in this life now, we need to build each other up a lot more than break each other down. And that's something that I'm a huge advocate for. I love people loving each other. And I feel like, you know, being in, like, the birthmark community and finding an Instagram page, not saying that there's an Instagram page, like, for people with depression, but
there probably is.
There probably, yeah. I mean, they probably have, like, counseling accounts. You know, I'm actually going to make a post about this episode probably on the podcast page. So, everything that we talk about will be mentioned. So, I will make sure that you guys get your resources. And one of my friends who's coming on later on actually has a lot of her own resources that she used when she was kind of going through her own mental health journey. So I got you all covered. But like I said, I definitely think nowadays we need to, you know, show each other more love, which I think we're kind of getting better at. But at the same time, we need a lot of work.
I mean, 2020 has definitely not helped with that, being closed off from others and just all the things going on.
Yeah.
But I think that just means even more than ever. Just be there for one another.
Yeah. My goal going through life, honestly, I mean, this kind of started in, like, 7th grade, but being a people pleaser, wanting people to like me, I kind of made it my goal every day to make at least one person I see smile. And, if it's more than that, good for me. But, try to make at least one person smile because it's a chain reaction. If you make someone else happy, it's like if you pay for someone in the drive-thru, like they're going to feel inspired to do something nice for someone else. And I feel like, one small thing can't really change the world, but it can change someone else's life. And, chain reactions. You change someone else's life, they change someone else's life, and it just keeps going. And then we're going to live in a happier world. And that's something that I really want to accomplish.
You never know what somebody's going through. Even one small compliment, just like, your hair looks great today.
Thanks. It's been like this for 4 days.
That could keep somebody from committing suicide. You never know. Just be kind. Don't hate on anybody else. There's no point to hating.
There is no point.
Just bringing somebody down for no reason.
Yeah, even if you think it builds yourself up, at the end of the day, it doesn't, because there's going to be that little voice telling you that you did something bad. There's going to be that guilt inside of you, and you're just going to feel really not good about it. So, I think that about wraps it up for today. But thank you, Landon, for joining me. Thank you for being on the first official episode. I'm so excited to see, where this goes.
Yeah, hope I'll be back soon.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But yes, I think that is all for today. I want to leave you guys with a piece of good news, or I guess a good word. I don't really know. I started this thing on the pilot episode. I was like, I'm going to leave everyone with a good message. So, today's good message that we're going to end with is, to live a life that you're proud of. Live a life that, and I made this a post because I felt really inspired, but live a life that you're proud of, and live a life that, one day you can look back on and say, yeah, I did that, with pride and confidence. Like, don't live a life that you're going to be ashamed of. So yeah, I think that's all from us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.